They called it the Sky Splitter Reach, a place where the clouds never break and the ocean hums with a lethal voltage. Captain Voltage was a man who hated the slow crawl of the sea. He wanted the speed of the gods. He found the fulminating core in a floating laboratory, shattered by 1,000 bolts. He believed it would make his fleet move with the speed of light. But as the storm chaser entered the blue mist, the masts didn't just vibrate, they ignited. Silas didn't know that to harness the storm, you must first become its prey. It started with the iron nails in the deck. They began to glow with a steady, neon blue light, humming at a pitch that could shatter bone. Then, the current reached the crew. Their skin didn't burn, it polarized. Their veins became glowing filaments of copper, and their hair stood on end, sparking with every ragged breath. When they touched the railing, blue arcs of electricity jumped between their fingers and the steel. We weren't dying, we were being overcharged. The storm chaser was no longer a ship, it was a massive, floating capacitor, waiting for the final strike. The transformation was a symphony of static and thunder. Voltage watched as his sails, once canvas, became shimmering curtains of blue plasma that crackled with enough power to level a city. When the lightning struck the ship, it was absorbed into the hull, making the wood glow like white-hot iron. Our cannons were now railguns, launching spheres of pure energy that vaporized anything they touched. We were being unmade by the very energy we stole. A violent, blinding surge that turned every thought into a flash of ozone. From the heart of the storm rose the sentinel of the surge. A colossal titan formed from the metal husks of lost airships and the bones of sea beasts killed by the current. It was a shifting mountain of copper coils and lightning rods, constantly drawing power from the black clouds above. It didn't roar. It emitted a deafening crack of thunder that stopped our hearts and restarted them in the same second. It watched as Voltage reached for the core, his hand already a glowing conductor of white light. The sentinel was a regulator, reclaiming the voltage we had dared to borrow. The ocean around us became a graveyard of fused metal. Hundreds of vessels from every age, ironclads and galleons, all melted together into a single glowing circuit of destruction. Voltage walked across the deck, his footsteps leaving temporary arcs of blue fire. He could see through the clear, electrified water thousands of skeletons whose bones had been turned into solid copper, their souls trapped in the perpetual hum of the deep. He realized then that he was the admiral of a battery, ruling over an empire of static. The pressure of the current was becoming too much for our mortal frames. Every word we spoke was a spark, every glance was a bolt. The storm chaser began to vibrate so violently that the very air around us turned into a shimmering wall of blue light. We were reaching the overload point, where the metal would turn to liquid and the soul would turn to ash. Voltage didn't care. He was addicted to the surge, his mind lost in a world where time was measured in milliseconds and life was just a series of electrical pulses. The sun above was a dim, flickering bulb, barely visible through the thick atmosphere of static and ozone. The sky was filled with a pulsing neon blue aurora that danced in sync with our ship's decaying energy. The core demanded a final sacrifice, the total surrender of our biological warmth. The crew stood on deck like glowing statues, their lungs filled with ozone, their hearts beating with the rhythm of a failing generator. Voltage embraced the strike, letting the lightning reach his very soul until the world was nothing but a blur of white light. The ship began to sink, but it didn't fall like wood. It moved like a current, trailing a cloud of blue sparks like a falling star. We descended through layers of ancient, electrified machinery and the skeletons of copper leviathans. Each fathom was heavier, the voltage of the sea trying to melt our polarized frames into the earth. We reached the core of the storm, a place of pure, magnetic force. Here, the light didn't just shine, it became the very foundation of the abyss. We weren't at the bottom of the sea, we were inside the planet's electric heart. Voltage sat on a throne of fused lightning rods, his eyes twin pools of blinding white light. He was the king of the flash, the sovereign of a realm where everything is fast and nothing is still. He could hear the hum of every wire and the crackle of every